in our local language, it means that what didn't work kangura. What didn't work kangura. Or to put it simply, wajibam. 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 Or in the Hausa language, otilo. Otilo. Or to put it in a more simpler way, ya gudu. It's as simple as that, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we should not be afraid of accountability. As public officials, when they took my laptop, it got to a point they couldn't even open the iPhone. I told them I was willing to come and use my fingerprint. It was then and there that they told me that the phones had been taken to the United Kingdom. I had to give them the password. Eventually, the very America that I was accused of, a minister was dismissed because it came here padded by almost $800 million. Mr. Speaker, on this auspicious day, on this day of reckoning, on this day of accountability, the only thing I can say is that we wish the man in white,
5 minutes.
The best of luck.
Is up.
But Mr. Speaker,
5 minutes is up.
The finance minister should come here and settle the scores as well as
5 minutes is up.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what signal are we sending to the nation that, oh, if it is NDC and NDC is in power, it is right. If it is MPP and if it's MPP in power, it is right. Mr. Speaker, the political class of this country must rise above this. The political class of this country must rise above this. And I would conclude by saying that if indeed...
Hold it. Honourable member, will you... No, I mean you. You are looking back. It is you I'm talking to. You are looking back. It is you I'm talking to. Will you listen to the leader in silence? Why? Leader, continue.
Mr. Speaker, Honourable Member for Keta talked about karma. And I agree with him. I've been reading a lot about karma. The wheels of karma indeed grind slowly, but with great surety. You have quoted it today. Enjoy it whilst it lasts.
I want to make is that all regimes at all times have used the military together with the police in certain operations. You agree that that is the case? So today, if you see the military and the police working together, you cannot suddenly create an impression that something that is unacceptable has happened. Because we have used them together. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, night security, just night security. When we should be deploying the police, we often deploy them with the soldiers. So let's not make it look like, for the first time, something that has never been heard of is happening in this country simply because a joint military and police team have visited the residence of the former finance minister. Mr. Speaker.
Honourable
Mr. Speaker, I don't know what raid means. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I don't know who was in the residence at that time. That's why I said give me time to conduct some enquiries and come and brief the House. But the first point I want to make is that don't make it seem as if something unheard of has happened because soldiers and police have visited the residence of a former finance minister. Mr. Speaker, as for the issues that have been mentioned here, the conduct of searches, the prosecution of politicians, investigation of politicians, we've all gone through all of that and we are standing here, including my very good self. The OSP has investigated me, has taken me to, the court. I have fought my case. I have won. I won. So I advise you if...
Honourable Majority Leader, please address the chair. Honorable Dominic Nitiwood,
I advise you.
you are a senior member of the House.
Instead of making it a subject of debate in this chamber, please go and answer the questions, like some of us boldly and confidently went and answered the questions. We were investigated, we were arraigned in court, we responded to our charges, we defended ourselves, and we got judgments in our favor. And then we are free people. That is how a democracy functions. Don't make it look like suddenly a particular class is under attack because institutions of state that are supposed to hold us accountable have activated themselves and are doing their work. I don't know if there was any raid, but I know that whether police or soldiers, any member of the security agencies can be used at any time. Can be used at any time. I'd caution that this is a statement that definitely will generate commentary that will provoke debate in clear violation of our standing orders. And I caution that it is a statement that will attract comments that will damage the reputation of somebody who is not in this chamber. Mr. Speaker, if you are a believer in the rule of law and you know the law, you know that if you claim that somebody has improperly searched your house or your property, you go to court.
And Akwetia, the case of Oblikmano is known to all of us in this honorable house. We don't have writ of elections from the Electoral Commission in respect of Oblikmano, and therefore it is impossible to proceed with any matter relating to Oblikmano in terms of roll call and in terms of the eligibility of a member for that constituency to participate in the election of the Speaker. In the case of Akwetia, the clerk to Parliament was served a process on the 3rd of January 2025 with an order of interim injunction from a high court in Koforidua. This order was served through the legal office of the Parliamentary Service. The order directed the respondents, including the clerk to Parliament, indicating that they are restrained from proceeding to call, admit, register, swear in, recognize, gazette the said Ernest Yao Kumi as the elected member for the Akwetia constituency. At the time of the receipt of the order, the Parliamentary Service had already completed the process of registration of Ernest Yao Kumi as member-elect. This is precisely because the first writ of elections that we received, Ernest Yao Kumi, was part of that process. So we received writ of elections in respect of Ernest Yao Kumi. And without the pendency of any suit, any process, the Parliamentary Service, in compliance with due process, had to register the member. So we did so. Subsequently, it has come to our attention. There's a restraining order of a court. Restraining not just the member, but the clerk to Parliament from proceeding with the registration from proceeding with the members' participation in the election of the Speaker.
Mr. Chairman, colleagues, please, let's make a headway. Mr. Chairman, we have heard you. This is a house of rules and procedure that is not in doubt. This is a house that relies on precedents. I just have a simple answer. to the point you made, and I have the instructions of my respected colleague-elect, Honorable Ernest Kumi, and fortified by the precedents of this House, which precedents is dated 7th of January 2021. I simply, Mr. Chairman, the member so desires to proceed to be sworn in and to also participate in the election of the Speaker and bear the consequences himself.
A comment about it. Initially, I wasn't served, neither my client, but the court sought to give the indication, and he said it in open court, the learned trial judge said that it was a letter emanating from the minority caucus of Parliament, and you would see the distinction. It's not from the Parliament of the Republic, because the Parliament is being run by the clerk to Parliament and the Speaker. The letter didn't emanate from the clerk. It came from their own caucus and said that he could not come to Parliament because he was undertaking some serious businesses. Now the court said he would not even entertain that letter, because if he did, it would amount to an inconsistency on his own part, because he has ruled that the gentleman cannot hold himself as a member of Parliament. So if he is in Parliament now and the letter emanates from the Parliament and says that he is busy conducting parliamentary duty, the court will not even look at it, because the court doesn't even recognize that he is indeed an legitimate elected member of Parliament.
It is not forgotten the struggles faced by our constituents in accessing clean water are mirrored nationwide. As
Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
All right, good morning. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Good Morning Ghana. My name is Audu Moro. It's always a pleasure coming your way. And also, it's also a pleasure knowing that you're tuning every morning to watch Good Morning Ghana from Monday to Friday because of the quality of the discussions that we hold here. It's about this country. It's about our country, Ghana. I'll go straight ahead and let you in on what the newspapers are reporting this morning. And as usual, I start with the Daily Graphic this morning. Daily Graphic this morning is reporting, says Catholic bishops want government to commit to partnership for education reforms. Junior Graphic launches, that's essay contest today. Court orders Akutia MP's arrest. GPCC backs Mohammed's lean admin. Lords Ghanaians for commitment to democracy. National Economic Dialogue March 3. The Ghanaian Times. Let's prioritize organic fertilizer in crop production. Professor David Miller is the president of the Miller Open University. Now, prove your critics wrong. President Mahama urges reconstituted Council of State. Government, GJA to meet over journalist safety. GHS dedicates health desk at regional district hospitals to support PWDs. The Daily Guide. Nana B sues court or government over post-election jobs termination. There's former NSA officials deny ghost names allegation. bench warrant for Akwetia MP over contempt. On a 70% cocoa price pledge, according to the minority. The new crusading guide. Alarm blows on 1.3 billion UPPF scandal. David Asante's successful stint as GPCL. Michael Dodu lacks capacity to sue on behalf of Dodu Clote family. Court rules. Establish Hajj Trust Fund to ensure dedicated funding. Patriotic Muslim Front. Ghana's Day of Shame with public lecture. It has a theme. As OSP invites Jacob Amwa, Wendy Ashong Newman, and Frida Amwa for investigations. Asenso Boache calls for action to improve pedestrian footbridge usage and reduce road accidents. There's also EGA, NDC chairman sets records straight, rubbishes Galamsey claims. The Inside newspaper. Hungry winter, a tale of Ghanaian students in Russia. Gadangbe Land Secretariat calls for immediate renewal of land leases in Ga State. Legal tussle over Clote family lands. Michael Dodu lacks capacity to sue on behalf of Dodu Clote family. Court rules. President John Mahama's 120-day social contract. Achievement so far after over a month in office. Ukraine war. White House labels Zelensky short-sighted. The New Republic. Kenzo must go. Pressure mounts on Mahama to remove NPP's Kenzo as VRA CEO. Galamsey boss battles retention after aiding NPP Honkos to destroy forest reserves. Ghana education shakeup needed, President Mahama warns. Massive rot at ECG. Energy Minister raises concerns. Daily Post. I declared my assets with alacrity, Professor Jampo. Revocation of public sector appointments irreversible, Felix Kwachofusu. It's time wicked Godfrey Dame is hauled before General Legal Counsel, Martin Pebu. Court convicts wannabe Akwetia MP, orders his arrest. The Daily Searchlight. Afenyo Marking challenges Mahama show leadership. The matter of mass dismissals in public servants. Tit for tat, 2 months. In opposition, NPP demands higher cocoa prices for farmers. Ghana records first case of HMPV virus. Spiritual healing ends in tragedy. Man found dead in the bush at Asin. Metro Lens. 24-hour economy becomes reality. Passport office to operate day, night, and dawn shift. Ablakwa hints. David Asante's stint at GPCL ends on a high note. Central Region NHIA strategizes to achieve 2025 target. Omanebuama highlight NDC's 2010 law as crucial in maritime boundary resolution. That's it for the front page stories of the various newspapers. When I come back, I'll let you in on my guests and then the conversation will start. Please stay with us.
Hello, my friends. My name is Calcate Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Calcate. Happy smile.
Look around. Oh
also need a makeover? Oh, mine clearly does. So we went to Ashroom and found the Como collection. It had everything we're looking for and more. Matching furniture for the entire home, designed with you in mind.
Where's Como collection? Dressing up is just the breeze. Always ready with a perfect accessory.
A magic dressing mirror. One look and you're ready to face the world. Or at least the kids.
A bed perfect for young men who want
a table that turns into a treasure chest.
And finally, a sofa with this grand TV unit for family time at home.
Head over to any Ashform store now and discover the new Como collection. Ashform, feel it, know it.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Emribi etwam apomuden ho nsem agi ensem ho emma osuru yedin masase itiawere ho enti onyankopon nam da esum da enua eni habama ebeji adasama enkwa ekire adujamfi okumanini barima enu akire no adujamfi esa kotra kwayem ededuanan agwanfa nsuo ankana no menu mienu apomuden panti wenti enigisem onyankopon de yare nyina so tumi ahye Dr. Tamdaso nsa gese di wawuo anase yesie no nkoa ene wontimi na yaresa bia ho de wasiesie ho kama enti faka krabi baje wa yaresa e wo medimafo heba hospital frayen 0244 774 282
oyarefo bia kaise udimafo eye medimafo heba hospital Dr. Tamdaso.
Energy drink.
Ama, nansi mi jeno wo bin enko ye kwao. Ama ma ye bohu se kontomra akija.
Nansi me hu se mi nyo basima kura. Ama me kunni me into kwankwa. Oh you right. Enye mo ko. Give us GC mixture. And any capsules are your boom and want some namokana. A bois and ma any memenina. Nema ba ye obesima. Na bear must why your pemissima. Ya, with the brown I'm an egg giant sour the shelly bottom. No when you need to say you owe you chop one. GC mixture and a capsule. Achisa.
Apples. A painful a batter, one more menu for one and Quadawi if you do me.
In an era where fire safety is paramount, Kabori Film Compound Technologies Limited stands out as a leader in the development of innovative fire dousing solutions. With a focus on aqueous film forming foam, the company provides a cutting-edge product that significantly enhances fire suppression capabilities across various sectors, including maritime, industrial, and emergency response.
The oil and gas sector, along with chemical manufacturing facilities and fire services.
Kabori's advanced film technology offers a more efficient and environmentally responsible alternative.
Kabori is recognized for its superior extinguishing capabilities and prolonged resistance to reignition. Kabori's product is certified by the Ghana National Fire Service, the Ghana Standards Authority, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Nigerian Standards Organization.
Kabori Film Compound Limited is situated in Nsawam within the eastern region of Ghana. For inquiries, reach out to them on 0245 885 288 or 0244 514 048. You may also contact them via email at info@kaborifilm.com. Kabori Film Compound Technologies Limited, providing film compound solutions to help institutions.
Mr. Chairman, colleagues, please, let's make a headway. Mr. Chairman, we have heard you. This is a house of rules and procedure that is not in doubt. This is a house that relies on precedents. I just have a simple answer to the point you made, and I have the instructions of my respected colleague-elect, Honorable Ernest Kumi, and fortified by the precedents of this House, which precedents is dated 7th of January 2021. I simply, Mr. Chairman, the member so desires to proceed to be sworn in and to also participate in the election of the Speaker and bear the consequences himself. Thank you very much.
Council,
what transpired in court today?
No comments. Oh, Council. No comments.
The last time you indicated,
Council.
No comments.
Where's my driver? Oh, Council.
Where is the driver?
So are you going to go ahead in Supreme Court?
All right, so welcome back to Good Morning Ghana. That's Thursday edition, and it's now time for me to introduce my able guest who joined us to look at the big stories as been reported by the newspapers this morning. So Lawyer Evans Amankwa is the chairman of the NDC's Ashanti Regional Legal Team. He's also a former Adansia Sokwa parliamentary candidate of the NDC. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for joining us on Good Morning Ghana. It's good to see you. Very busy and very hardworking private legal practitioner. He's always in the news. You're always in the news. Even yesterday, you were in the news.
Yes.
And I'll speak to you about it. Okay. Anyway, so also joining me on the other side, of course, representing the MPP is the MP for Efia. I'm talking about the Honorable Isaac Buama Nyako, who is also a private legal practitioner. Good morning.
Good morning.
Brother, how are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And this is your first time on the show.
That's correct.
Yeah, it's the first time on the show. You've only been watching.
You see,
from afar.
From afar.
But now you are in the thick of affairs.
You understand.
Anyway, so before I come to you guys for us to start our conversation this morning, let me just say that quick. Now, Honorable Austin Game and the Traditional Council of Chiefs and Queen Mothers of Volo are inviting all the Volo citizens living in Accra, Tema, Shaman, Kaswa, Joapong, Bong, Adesu, Kufuridua, and Cape Coast to an emergency meeting at the St. Mary International School premises near the Ashama Night Market at 11 a.m. on Saturday. So this coming Saturday, that's 22nd February 2025. Now the purpose is to discuss an urgent matter which cannot be postponed. So come prepared to enable us have a conversation about the way out of this looming trouble. So God bless you. Honorable Austin Game sends us this public announcement. Let me also say that I've always been encouraging you to try this drink, or it's a brand called that's a Blue Jeans Energy Drink, because of its benefits to your health. Now, Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years, and we already know what it does for the body. It contains many vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12. And as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy, as well as promote high performance and endurance. So Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been tested, it's been tried, we know it, we like it, we can testify that is indeed the best. Blue Jeans Energy Drink is for bold and active men and women, and it is in shops nationwide. So for bulk purchases, contact Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 020-812-8190 and 055-001-000. So contact these numbers and grab some blue energy drink, Blue Jeans Energy, and you'll thank me later. That's the whole point. Anyway, so Honorable Isaac Buama, you are a first-time MP, Efia. And you were one of those who were lucky. I think yourself and I believe the must have been the Takrady, right?
Yes.
The Takrady MP. You're the two luckiest MP to have won. 17 seats were up for grabs, but the two of you were able to win 2 of it. The NDC won about 15 or so.
That's correct.
I believe. Certainly not the kind of turnout that you expected. Even in your case, I remember, you were targeted 70%.
That's correct.
And even the 70% you struggled. Have you been reflecting?
Yes. Thank you very much, Muru, once again for having me this morning. Let me say a very good morning to your cherished listeners and viewers. And let me say a good morning to my friend Evans also here this morning. And to the people of Efia constituency, on whose benevolence I represent them in Parliament. I want to say good morning to all of them, including the Western region. As you rightly said, we are only two representing the MPP in the Western region, and so it's important we take up responsibility across the region in terms of the needs and aspirations of the party. And so a good morning to all the people in Western region, from Efia, Kwesimi, Team Takrady, and so on and so forth. That wasn't what we were expecting. As you rightly said, the MPP has always been dominant in the Western region. From the time we separated Western region from Western North, the NPP had always secured majority in presidential and parliamentary elections. We used to have about 12 seats as at 2016, and then when we came to 2020, we whittled down to 9, and then DC had 8 out of the 17. It was our expectation to have increased our numbers to about 12 or 13. That was the target we set ourselves as a party.
Well, that's if you're looking at it as the old Western region.
No, the new.
The new Western.
The new Western region, yes. The old, we had about 25 parliamentary seats. So the new Western region, since 20, if you take the data, out of the 17, we had about 9 as at 2020. And our target was to increase it to about 12. However, by the end of the day, we have come down to only 2. There are certain seats we've never thought of ever losing. Within the metropolis, you take Sekendi, you take Iskado, Ketan, you take Kwesimintim. And so it was very surprising that we lost all those seats. But that tells you about the growth in our democracy and the fact that the people cannot be taken for granted. And we've looked at the numbers. We understand some of the reasons which led to our performance. As you said, even in the fear where I was contesting, looking at the extent of work we've put in as a political party and as an individual who had stepped in as a parliamentary candidate. We've done so much for the good people of Ifia. So we wanted to see a bigger percentage, around 70%. But that's the will of the people, you know. At least they still gave me victory at the end of the day, and I really appreciate their commitment to support me. Even at the presidential level, we lost. Dr. Baumia lost to the president in Al-Mahama. And so, having lost the presidential and winning the parliamentary by a margin which was even bigger than what the presidential, then it tells you that the people had confidence in me compared to the candidate of the NDC then. So it behoves on me to be a good representation for them and bring their issues up. And I think so far we've started well in Parliament, and also I'm sure we are going to deliver for them.
Because, you know, one of the things I've been thinking about, and if you look at the numbers in 2024, you look at what the MPP had in 2020 as compared to what they had in 2024, and how you have just said that the numbers have actually whittled down, even in terms of presidential and also parliamentary. Now, you said you, as a person, you're putting a lot of work to make sure that you would sort of up your numbers, or you ramp up your numbers, but it didn't turn out to be so. Do you get the sense that it doesn't matter how hard working you are as an MP, if the government struggles or the government doesn't perform, whether you like it or not, directly or indirectly, it will affect you? Do you get that sense?
Yeah, that is what the numbers say. If you look at this particular election in 2024, it was a decision on the governance of the day and the way the people felt about the government of the day, which is led by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. You look at it, and it is not as if the president had not worked. The president had done a lot of work in various areas. If you even compare to some of the challenges today, the educational sector and the rest. So the president has done his bit, but a lot of people had concerns around the economy, the rate of inflation, the dollar, the level of the dollar against the depreciation. You take the DDEP issues, where a lot of people had concerns about how we managed it, and then also you know, Ghana as a country, when a government stays in office for 8 years, there's always the tendency that people have issues with leadership, whether it's MPs or ministers of state. So I'm sure a lot of factors culminated in the way Ghanaians voted. But of course, when the majority of the people are not happy with the government, the members of parliament also bear the brunt.
Right.
And I'm sure these are realities.
You can't escape it.
No. These are realities we should look at. And so there should always be that sync between the issues of government of the day and then the interests of the people on the ground.
So it then makes sense. It then makes sense when you MPs, you come together and you petition the government of the day and say, look, we're on the ground and we're telling you things are bad. The executive arm of government must take you guys seriously.
Very much so. And normally when you are in parliament, and that's what I've observed, if you look at our constitution, majority of the ministers are supposed to be picked from parliament. Yet, parliament as a caucus, do not have a lot of stake or input into the governance process. Parliament has been left to be a legislative arm as it so is. And so ours is just to pass the laws. But in terms of actual policy direction and the kind of things that the people need to see on the ground, there's a disconnect between the executive decisions and parliamentary decisions. And I'm sure, looking at these issues that have happened in 2024, Parliament and government should work together and ensure that at the end of the day, the issues, because the MPs bear a lot of responsibilities on the ground. Yesterday, when the Minister for Lands submitted a paper on the state of Galamsey and land degradation, Honorable Amakofi Boa, and he said that his observation has been that the right people to engage, to lead the crusade against this menace are the members of parliament, because they are the people who go to the grounds, and they are the people that the people get to speak of their issues and concerns, and they are the people they hold accountable and responsible for some of the issues. And so if the members of parliament are one, and we understand the state of these things, it is easier for us to go down, educate our people, get their buy-in, and fight all of these things together. So that was a step in the right direction. I should commend the Minister for Lands for that initiative.
But in order to deal with this problem, isn't that why the majority leader, right? Of course, when you're in government, for now, it's always been the party in government has the majority, so I'll say the majority leader for the purpose of this conversation. But isn't that why the majority leader is also made a member of cabinet, so that the expectation is that you channel your concerns and your grievances through the majority leader, who will then expectedly go to cabinet and then forward those concerns to cabinet and say, look, these are the issues that my guys have brought to my attention. Deal with it.
Yeah, that is right, and I'm surprised why this particular setup of ministers. His Excellency, the President, didn't make the leader of government business a minister. So, like it happened in the previous administration, where the leader of government business in Parliament was a minister
for parliamentary affairs.
So that would bring parliament interest to the executive. But it's different having him as a minister and maybe his issues, his concerns and interests being articulated well and being accepted. So it's good to be represented, but it's better if the issues are responded to and addressed. In this case, where we have Mahama Yarga, Honorable Mahama Yarga as the leader, and not being made a minister, of course, we understand the difficulty of government when he says he's going to have a maximum of 60 ministers. And if you look at how he has even scheduled his appointment, there are certain ministries ordinarily you would have expected maybe 2 deputies, but he can't because of the exigencies of his. And so it's making it even more difficult for him to appoint ministers to deal with matters. I'm sure though the leader of government business has not been made a minister, he is still going to represent in some of the cabinet meetings, though he's not a minister, so that some of these issues and concerns of parliament, particularly the parliamentarians, can be brought to the fore of the executive. So that is my expectation, and I think the president should take it very serious. Mahama Yarga has done well so far as the leader. He's just been in for about a month, but when you look at his demeanor, his ability to reconcile the House, even when, if you look at the parliamentary disturbance that happened, he was the leader that showed up and made sure that some of all the parties come together, and I think he's shown leadership so far, and he has to be commended.
Well, I mean, for me, there's a missing link somewhere, because if you have a situation in cabinet, you have the general secretary, you have the national chairman, you have the majority leader. I don't know how else concerns of MPs can be channeled to cabinet for onward address. But I don't know. Something is just missing somewhere. But Lawyer Mankwa, you two, you are fighting the Chief Justice. What's the issue?
Oh no.
You're fighting the Chief Justice. What's the issue?
And how can I fight?
No, I mean not fight as we fight, but you have some issues with the Chief Justice.
Almighty Chief Justice.
Yeah.
Whom we all serve under as lawyers.
Right.
May I take this opportunity to say good morning to your unique and cherished viewers.
especially my NDC members in Ashanti region and my constituency at Dansi Asokwa.
Right.
Interestingly, I have my first daughter in the country from Germany. That's her first time. Nanaya Inshra, she's watching.
Okay.
Good morning, Inshra.
Okay.
That's the first time of visiting me alone.
I see.
In Ghana.
I see. That's your firstborn?
Yes, my firstborn.
Oh, okay.
She will turn 20 in July.
Isha, welcome to Ghana. We hope you enjoy yourself. All right.
So let me say good morning again to the Regional Executive Committee, the Regional Chairman, the Regional Minister, and the other executive of NDC in Ashanti region, and President John Dramani Mahama Abebio, the nation builder. Moro, you see, we filed a petition in relation to 3 constituencies declarations, unlawful declaration, that's what we take it. We say it. Unlawful declaration by the Electoral Commission. Why do we say unlawful declaration? In a constituency like Obuasi East, on the 9th of December, the parliamentary elections were collated at the CKC Senior High School, and elections were declared in favor of the NDC parliamentary candidate, Honorable Samuel Abuache. Interestingly, the declaration form was signed by Honorable Patrick Boache Iyadom, who was the sitting MP and now being declared. And after this declaration and everybody who was there being satisfied with the conduct of and everything, we left the place. We came back after some days and we were told that the returning officer is claiming of declaring the results under duress.
Okay.
At what point would somebody say that I declare results under duress when media personnel, security personnel were all present? Again, Moro, in the 2020 elections, when NDC people complained about Techima and South, we wrote a petition to the Electoral Commission that we have won Techima and South parliamentary elections. And the EC has declared for MPP. So let us recollate the results. The EC told us that once the elections has been declared, there is no way that the EC can go back and recollect the results again. So if anybody is dissatisfied with the declaration, that person should go to court.
Right.
That was what Jane Mensah said to the people of NDC and Ghanaians as a whole, and told us that elections are won at the polling stations. So we decided to work and protect our legitimacy and the votes at the polling stations. So we did that, and elections were won at the polling station overwhelmingly. And Obuasi East, we won the parliamentary for the first time. It has been declared. So what warranted the recollation? Was there any order? Because, mind you, MPP went to court to compare the EC to do certain constituency collation and recollating of certain constituencies. But they did not add Obuasi East. So under what order did the EC recollected the Obuasi parliamentary results without recourse to NDC and declared the MPP as the winner of that constituency? Based on that, we went to court. When we filed the processes, the cases were assigned to a particular court, High Court 8 in Kumasi. For North, it was not declared at all. It was not collated. So it needed to be collated. Now, if you remember, my brother, when the EC, Jane Mensah, was declaring the presidential results in this country, he told Ghanaians that
Ahafo North, they could not collate the presidential result of Ahafo North because of the misunderstanding and the intrusion of some people who paraded themselves as military from MPP at that particular point in time. That is not what the EC said, but that is what we know happened on the ground. So at what point did the EC collated the presidential and the parliamentary results with that recourse to the NDC?
Okay.
Ahafo Southwest, the same thing happened. Moro, interestingly, Ahafo Southwest, NDC, and Ahafo North, NDC as a political party since 1996 has never won the presidential before. So when they collated the presidential and His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama has won, these insurgents, this tax invaded the coalition center and in the process killed one of our supporters and destroyed all the primary materials on the ground. So the parliamentary results was not collated on that day.
Okay.
Now, if the EC is mindful of going to collate that result, what stops the EC from inviting the NDC officially to be present while those coalitions were being done? All these things did not sit down well with us. And for that matter, we decided to go to court because that is the only place to seek redress when you are dissatisfied with the conduct of a government agency or anybody in an office in this country. So when we went to court with the election petitions on these 3 constituency cases, 2 of the cases were assigned because you see, let me do it this way. You know, because of manipulation of cases that's supposed to go to specific courts, the judicial system has come up with what we call the e-distribution.
Okay.
It means that you cannot assign a case to a court of your choice. It is done electronically, so that cases will be assigned without any manipulation or bias.
To reduce the human interference.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, when we file the processes, we don't, because you file at the registry of the court and you leave it. So the day, the return day that we were supposed to go to court, because we had filed an injunction and a date was scheduled for its hearing.
Okay.
When we went to court, we were told that 2 of the cases, that is Ahafo Southwest and Obuasi East, has been assigned to High Court 8, and Ahafo North has been assigned to High Court 6. We went to court subsequently because we were not getting the MPs to sell them. They were evading service, so we have to go by motion for substituted service. So through substituted service, we got them served. And the return date was yesterday. So we know that the cases are always, because we have gone to court more than 4 times, and the cases were in court, High Court 6 and High Court 8. Yesterday we were in High Court 6. When we were done with the High Court 6, we were going to High Court 8, and we realized that we were told that the case has been transferred from High Court 8 to High Court 2. Moro, cases at the court can only be transferred by the Chief Justice. Nobody else can do that. That is the law. 2, the Chief Justice cannot just sit down in the comfort of her seat or office and transfer cases like that. No. It must be triggered by a petition or by a conduct of a judge or something. Now,
so it's a misnomer.
It's a misnomer. And my question was that the respondent in these cases had never attended court before. So at what point would they write a petition?
Or a request.
Or a request that maybe we are not interested in this court or we have a problem with this charge. There was nothing of that sort, and it's not on notice. That is the first thing. The second, if a case is being transferred, at least you, the litigant or the lawyer whose address is on record
at the registry of the court needs to be notified so that a hearing notice will be served to you that your case has been scheduled. The case that is scheduled on the 19th of February is now going to court 2 instead of court 8. Nothing of that sort was done. And another interesting thing was that the respondent who were appearing court for the first time yesterday were able to know where the case has been transferred to. So by the time we finished the court case and we got to court 2, the case has been called and adjourned in our absence. In fact, explanation was given to us about a motion that has been filed, even though we had not been served with that motion, and the return date was on the 4th of March. So the judge had no option than to adjourn the case on that date. More, my point here is this. If you are transferring a case from one court to another, at least there are interested parties in this game that we are playing. We filed a petition and the court was assigned and we knew the court. So if something of that nature is going to be done, why don't you inform the players of the game? So if you do that, what happens, Moro, is that people, it will be tainted with kind of suspicion. And that was what was going on. As a lawyer, I'm always okay with whatever happens when it comes to court. And again, trust me, I have huge respect for the judges at every court. The judge in High Court Kumasi, I have huge respect for her. And I have been going to her court, and I don't have any doubt in her capacity and competence, not at all. And I have huge respect for the Chief Justice as well. But in this one, I totally disagree with her on the basis of the transfer without assigning any reason which is not known to us. So all that we are calling at this point is that if there has been any reason that's supposed to be communicated to us and has never been communicated to us, then the Chief Justice should make sure that that is communicated well. Because my clients are blaming everybody, including myself, that we are doing something fishy in relation to the case, which is not the case.
I see.
That is why yesterday I was telling the media about how disappointed I was as a lawyer, because my clients were thinking that I am not up to the task. Well, that is not the point, because we have done the processes of serving the respondent by substitution. It was a very tedious one, because you have to go to notice board of the Parliament House, you have to go to the notice board of their various constituencies and paste copies of the processes and the processes at the High Court notice board. It wasn't easy. So all these processes did not take us only one day. So whilst all these processes were going on, and interestingly again, Moro, those processes, we did it with bailiffs from the Court of Appeal building complex. You see, you have the old High Court, and in Kumasi, you have the old High Court and the Court of Appeal building complex. So the two separate registries of the court, even though they are one, but they have a registrar at the old High Court, and they have a registrar at the Court of Appeal building for the High Court cases over there. Now, we use the Court of Appeal registry bailiffs to do those processes. I don't know if you are getting.
I guess I understand.
Yeah. So once we have used them, it means that every processes that would have been on the file is emanating from the bailiffs from that registry of the High Court. So if anything is being changed at that point, at least it's supposed to be transparent and come to our notice so that we can communicate same to our client for them to understand that because of 1, 2, 3 or A, B, C, D, the Chief Justice thought it wise to change the court, and here is where we are going. But not the case where we go to court, we are not told anything, we go and sit at the old court and not knowing the case is going on in a different court. Lack of transparency in this respect give room for suspicion.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it becomes a problem. So I plead with anybody in charge of this case. This is a very serious and case that follows with a lot of tensions and
I get that.
Issues around it.
Yeah.
So,
but this prior notice and explanation that should have been rendered you, is this something which is grounded in law, or is something that's grounded in practice and conventions? I want to understand. I'm a layman. Yeah. I'm a mere mortal. Explain it to me.
You see, it's grounded in practice and convention.
Okay.
Why am I saying that?
So she's not actually flouted any law, basically.
You see, my brother is saying no. Let me tell you this. When you are given a duty or a task to perform,
yes,
the constitution of this country enjoins you to act without malice and in good faith.
True.
Now, you told me that because of manipulations or human interferences of court processes, you want to
do e-justice.
E-justice.
Yes.
Or e-distribution.
Right.
System. And that has been done. And because the Chief Justice is the only person who has the mandate, but the law does not say, because you see, the Chief Justice had the mandate to transfer cases, but cannot do it maliciously. The Chief Justice cannot just sit down and transfer cases like that.
Yeah.
It's never done anywhere. So once there's no reason assigned to it, and once it has not come to the notice of the parties involved, it gives room for
I understand.
a substitution.
So it gives grounds for people to see they smell a big fat rat.
Exactly.
Understand that. Understand.
And that is exactly what has happened.
I understand. I mean, you have every reason to feel the way you feel. But speaking about courts, because I don't want to spend too much time on this.
Okay.
But so what's the way forward?
Also, the way forward, we have been able to identify the courts.
Okay.
The case is coming on the 4th, even though we have not been served with the process that we have been told they have filed.
Okay. But when is it coming on?
On the 4th of March.
On the 4th of March, okay.
That is the case coming on. That is the two cases. Obuasi East and Havana South West.
Okay.
But that of Havana North is still what the court says.
Okay.
So that one is also coming on the 5th of March.
Okay.
So 4th of March and the 5th of March.
All right. You sound very determined to win these seats. And off air, I heard the Honorable as a Bama say, "Hey, Namokra, you more seats to cry the idea."
You see,
why?
That is another interest.
The 187.
No, you see,
you want more.
No, as you were saying, and I've always said it everywhere, that it is not about number of seats that NDC is determined.
It's about
to
the
get.
principle.
It's about the principle and the interest of the voters who queue.
I get it.
Under the sun to cast their vote.
I understand.
If you don't protect that interest,
next time they won't
vote for you.
Go out of their way to
they won't vote out of their way, as you're saying.
And especially when the NDC, prior to the elections, one of the things that came up was that whether you go to protect the
protective vote.
Yeah, so
and
you have to do everything.
We protected this vote.
Okay.
We did that.
Okay.
So we wouldn't let the EC sit at her office in Accra here. You see, I said something that elections are won at the polling station.
Yeah.
Why are you inviting us at the police station when you were invited at Tesano?
All right, so let's stay with the courts. Because the national organizer of the NPP has decided to take a matter to court, and the matter has to do with the termination of contract, as the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, instructed, of course, acting on behalf of the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. So today's daily guide, if you look at page 3, it says, Nabi sues government over post-election jobs termination. And the story here says, the story is by Jibril Abdulrazak. And it says, national organizer of the New Patriotic Party, Henry Nana Boache, also known as Nabi, has sued government over the decision to terminate all appointments and recruitment made into the public sector by the previous government after the December 7, 2024 election. The suit filed at the Supreme Court seeks, among others, a declaration that a directive from the Office of the President dated February 10, 2025 and signed by the Chief of Staff to heads of government institutions to annul all appointments and recruitments made in the public service of Ghana after December 7, 2024 is unconstitutional, as the Chief of Staff lacks the power to give such a directive. The suit, which names the Attorney General as a defendant in the matter, also avers that any annulment by the heads of government institutions pursuant to the February 10, 2025 directive from the Office of the President is unconstitutional, as same is in contravention of Article 191B of the Constitution 1992. Now, the Chief of Staff, okay, so he gives a background to it. Nana B has now followed through with his threat to sue the government if the decision is not rescinded, arguing that the revocation is unconstitutional. It also says, a declaration that on a true and proper interpretation of Article 58.2 of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, the President of the Republic of Ghana is under an obligation to execute and maintain Article 191B of the 1992 Constitution and the Public Services Commission Act 1994, Act 4. The suit added, he further wants a declaration that President John Dramani Mahama has breached Article 58.2 and 191B of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana in view of the aforementioned directive. Again, he wants an order in the nature of prohibitory injunction directed at the heads of government institutions to refrain from annulling the appointment and recruitment made in the public services of Ghana after 7th December. Now, the former vice president and also the presidential candidate of the MPP, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bami, has waded into this matter. In fact, yesterday he issued a very long, a fairly long, statement on this matter. And with the permission of the producer of the program, Andy, let me just read a section of it. It says, worrying development in our country, an appeal to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Now, this statement is released against a personal vow I made since leaving office. I made a personal affirmation to allow our new president and his government to get the needed space to get hold of things and settle down quickly to tackle the important business of government or governance, and by extension, nation building. Now, having been vice president for the past 8 years, I have come to appreciate the enormity of the task, a task that requires that those entrusted with the responsibility of governance, especially the president, get the needed support and composure to implement their vision for the betterment of our dear country. Unfortunately, I need to speak up on recent developments that pose significant threats to our democracy. To look away whilst these ills persist is to abandon my responsibility to remind President Mahama and his government of their overriding duty to live by the democratic tenets envisioned in the 1992 Constitution and do justice and rights to all manner of persons. Now, when Ghanaians voted for change in 2024 general elections, it manifested a desire to continue with national development, albeit with different people at the helm of affairs. It was within the spirit that I gave an early concession speech, urging all Ghanaians to support our new president as he attempts to make his contribution to the cumulative progress successive governments have chalked over the years. Now, since assuming office, however, the government of President Mahama has pursued a series of actions targeting Ghanaians who were legitimately employed during the previous administration. It's ironic that a party which campaigned on the wings of jobs for all Ghanaians is arbitrarily dismissing the same Ghanaians, rendering them jobless just because a different government employed them to put their talents to bear on the nation's development and earn income to cater for themselves and their families. The least a party that campaigned on jobs could do under conditions of employment is to also innovate and create jobs rather than dismiss people. Regrettably, these dismissals have been extended to directors who are public servants and not politicians. In some of the cases, the only reason for dismissal was that the persons whose livelihoods have been destroyed are known to or related to politicians, as if it suggests that they cannot live independent professional lives, however qualified they are. There are also reports of government intention to terminate the appointments of persons performing critical jobs, such as security personnel, nurses, and teachers, simply because they were appointed during the tenure of the previous administration. That would be most unfortunate. Furthermore, there's a general atmosphere of insecurity. So this one is not related to what we're going to talk about, so I'll leave that out. So this is it. And then finally, before you come in, I don't know what I say. What about Daily Post? It has a picture of Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, who is the Minister of State in charge of government communication, also the spokesperson for the president. Revocation of public sector appointments, irreversible. Felix Kwakye has been talking. And the story is right here. Let me just, it's good. I'll just do a paragraph.
Yeah, that's fine.
Felix Kwachofos, who's the Minister of State in charge of Government Communications and spokesperson for President John Dramani Mahama, has justified the government's decision to revoke post-December 7 appointments, citing irregularities in the recruitment processes. This come after Minority Leader Alexander Fenyomaki on Tuesday, February 18, appealed to President Mahama to withdraw the revocation of appointments. Addressing journalists in Accra on Wednesday, February 19, Kwachofosu notes that, let me also put it on record, that this action has been taken not because of a perception or a belief that they were MPP. It is because we know that the recruitment processes were attended by irregularities. He highlighted instances where individuals were given backdated letter to create the false impression that they had been employed long before the elections, while others did not even undergo interviews at all, or even submit application letters, express interest in their positions. Kwachofosu emphasized that the irregularities could not be allowed to stand and assured that the government would conduct new recruitment processes open to all Ghanaians irrespective of their political affiliation. In due course, government will do recruitment, and it will be open to all Ghanaians irrespective of political coloration. Indeed, your party your party identity will not be required. You will not be asked to show whether you're MPP or NDC when that comes, but we will do it in a regular manner, he explained. Honorable Isaac Boama, you've had a national organizer going to court on this matter. Alexander Fenyomaki, who is a minority leader, has also written quite extensively on it. I have that particular statement, and now the Vice President has also found it necessary to wade into the matter.
Yes, Muru, these are very worrying times, if you should ask me, because we've been in this country where, as we went around to campaign, the message from the youth is all about employment and unemployment.
Okay.
And as a country, we have a responsibility to provide employment to our people whenever there are vacancies for people to get or to apply and get employment in various government agencies. Now, the so-called appointments or employments that were done post-December 7th, we have checked from all institutions, and you get to know that these are recruitments that just don't happen as an event. They are processes that lead to employment of people into the public sector. We have institutions that are guided by different regulatory regimes when it comes to employment. So if you take Ghana Revenue Authority, for example, where I had come from, the GRA Act mandates GRA as a body to do their own recruitment and appointment based on certain processes and procedures. If you take nurses and teachers, if you take the security agencies, they all have their processes and procedures when it comes to recruitment. And all of those exercises can never happen in a day. If you go to Ghana Revenue Authority, for example, the process for one to be engaged would take you not less than 3, 4, 5 months before you are employed. And so I always say, I got my employment into GRA in December 2003. That was not a political year, but it was in December when I got my appointment to work in VAT then. And so if today somebody should be employed in December in GRA because it is a political season, why should that be an issue for one to say that you are going to terminate the appointment of that person? And so the issue that is bothering Ghanaians are that the chief of staff who issued the directive, remember, he had earlier issued a directive to all government agencies to submit a report to him concerning all recruitment done post-December 7th.
Yes.
So it means that he had received all the report from government agencies. And then he has a better view to say, okay, let me review the conditions upon which these recruitments were done. And are you telling me that when the chief of staff did his review, he was convinced that all of these recruitments that were done breached processes and procedures? Is that what the chief of staff is telling us, or the government is? That cannot be. That cannot be. And it is completely wrong for a government appointee or for the president or for the chief of staff to issue a blanket letter to all government agencies to revoke appointments made in December, post-December 7th. Where is he getting the authority and mandate from? Go through the Constitution. We are governed by laws. The Constitution doesn't give him that mandate. The Act in this country doesn't give him that mandate. These are people who are employed based on different regulatory regimes. And so where is the Chief of Staff's letter coming from? On which authority? And then when you read the letter, he said that on good governance. Who defines good governance? Who defines good governance upon which the Chief of Staff will issue that blanket statement? And then people have been employed. And one thing I find amazing is this tendency to think that when people are recruited, they are recruited on political lines. That is unconscionable. How can you determine that 500 or 600 people recruited, whether into the police service or in nursing or in teaching or in GRA, are NDC or MPP sympathizers? Where did we get that mentality from? Are you telling me that prior to the election, all the recruitment that had been done from 2017 to 2024 were all MPP appointees? Are we saying that in the first NDC, Joe Mahama, all the recruitments that were done in government services, teachers, nurses, police, and all of that were done on political basis? So why are we then putting this particular recruitment under the ambit of politics? We are destroying this country, for goodness sake. People have gone through due process to be recruited. And then they start work, and the next morning the government comes and issues a fiat. They'll go and stay home. I'm going to do a review to see whether it followed due process. Why don't you complete that process before coming up with a letter to terminate those you think did not go through due process? Why do you want to push everybody out? Do you know the number of people that are affected here? People were giving letters way before, even if it is after December 7th. The mandate of any government who is in power is on to 6 January 2024. Are we saying that any decision taken by a government prior to December 6th can be cancelled or revoked when a new government comes to power? Didn't the NDC make recruitment in 2016 when they lost election and power? Domolovo, wasn't he given a letter by His Excellency, the President, before he left? What informed all those appointments that were made between December 7th and January 6th when John Mahama was president number one?
What did you say at the time when Domolovo and the Strach boss were appointed at the time?
If you say me as a person, as a party, if you put it as a party, of course we had concerns that the timing was wrong.
Okay.
It was the timing. We raised issues about timing. So if I raise time, okay, a new government has been given a mandate. It is coming in the next 1 month. And then you give a new appointment. This is a position of an auditor general.
Yeah.
You set a new auditor general at such a time around the 17th or 20-something of January. The new government is saying, I have an issue. You could have waited for me to come in and then go through a process and do it. When you did it, the government did not revoke the appointment. We expressed concern, but he was not revoked. He worked until he got to a time where whether it is retirement or conditions under which he was removed, that is a different day to look at it. But his appointment was not revoked because it was properly done under the laws of this country. So my point is, on what basis you want to give employment to people? People are struggling for jobs. You have come in as a government. Yours is to even open more opportunities for people to secure jobs. Why are you sacking people and saying that you are now going to go through the process again and you are going to make it transparent and you are going to make sure that it is not NDC and MPP? Why do we think that recruitments are based on political lines? If they are Ghanaians, it doesn't make sense. People are recruited into government nurses. These are cohorts. People who completed nursing training at a particular year. If it comes to teachers, they are Ghanaians who had finished teacher training at a particular point in time. They are crying for jobs. Government is unable to absorb and recruit them. And then clearances are being sought every now and then. So when clearance comes, you need to go through a process to make sure that people are recruited. And we are saying that because their recruitment came at a point in time, we should sack them. Now, let's go to others. You see, If you were even targeting specific individuals, I have problems. Like, you go to Senate also, they said the appointment of one Osafo for cybersecurity has been revoked. It is Senate or whichever NC's authority to employ and then to terminate, and under the labor laws of this country. But if the information behind the termination is not based on the person's competency or the person's ability to function, but because the person is tagged by name or by or origin or by politics, then it flouts the constitution of this country. That is discrimination. The constitution is saying...
As a bomber, during the joint transition team,
yes,
during the work of the joint transition team, Ofosu Kwashi was then at the time was the secretary, and
That's
also
correct.
Was speaking for the team. We were all here,
That's
and we heard him loud and clear.
Yeah.
Where they kept drawing your attention to what they called last minute or 11th hour recruitment.
Correct.
And they mentioned the fact that, look, we're not in a very good place. The economy is not in a good place.
Yeah.
And that recruiting these people at this time was only going to impose some kind of fiscal challenge or fiscal difficulties on the government that was coming. In any case, you had lost an election. And so, yes, you have a constitutional legitimacy because you're still in power till the 6th of January, midnight, 6th of January. But you have lost maybe political and moral legitimacy.
That's correct.
So allow us to come to power and look at these recruitment. They mentioned it once. I mean, we're here, we sat, we talked about, we discussed it. And yet, you went ahead and recruited these guys. Now, the other question is this, that after 8 years, been in power for almost 8 years, why do you wait? Let's even assume that the recruitment processes started 3 or 4 months before 7th of December. Why did you have to wait till that last minute before? And here we're not talking some 20, 30, 50. We're talking thousands of, Ghanaian employees whom you've put in there. Why? Why did you do that?
Yes. So that is the context in which I was saying.
Yes.
That when it comes to recruitment of people,
yes,
it goes through a process.
Right.
The authorization for recruitment had happened way before time. And nobody knew the outcome of an election prior to it. So if, for example, whether in GRE or in the security service or in teachers or in nurses, you want to start a recruitment process, there is no way you will tell me that we knew we were going to lose the elections in December, and so we're recruiting to tie the hands of the incoming government.
We're talking after December 7th.
Yes, I'm coming. I'm saying that, so right after you've entered into December 7th and we have lost the elections, that is where I'm coming from. That the chief of staff has picked data on all the arms of recruitment that has happened. And I am saying on record that not all of these recruitments that had happened post-December 7th were all done in haste. My point is that you cannot say that because a government lost an election and has gone through due processes in recruiting people who clearances have been made. Clearances have been made. People need to go and sit and perform certain functions. And you are saying that we should stop all those processes and allow the new government to come and now come and see whether, okay, these teachers that you want to recruit, whether it is fit for purpose or this. We have given people authority and mandate to work. So I agree with you. If those appointments or recruitments were done without financial clearances, then it's an issue. Because then we are tying your hands to come and take responsibility for people that have not been budgeted for. But if budgets had already been made available, when the government came to power, all the things that they are doing, where are they taking the money and the resource from? Is it not from the same taxes that were collected by the MPP government before December 7th and after this, January 6th?
Tell me how to reconcile the position you've just taken. and that of your very good friend, Vincent Kwasefwa, in 2016. I'm going to read something that he put out. Okay. Now, this is what Vincent Kwasefwa said. I'll come to you. Don't worry.
All that you're doing, in fact, every single thing that I've noted. He's asking all your questions for you.
Oh my God! That's a taking the wind out of your sails there. That's just my final question.
No, but that is good.
Yes.
It means that we are thinking.
Okay, that's fine. So I just want you to reconcile these two.
Because
it's so important to me. Now, here's the thing.
If you look at my phone, see.
Oh, okay. You have actually been gone to you've brought out the story.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. So I've been told that we have to go on a break. So let's take this break. When I come back, I won't even say anything. I'll just give the floor to you. No, he said he says he wants to bring it up. So we'll take a short break. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro TV. We'll be right back.
Who are you? Charlie, I'll be you from the future. Who doesn't sleep on that slice of bready called mattress anymore? Don some slippers, then follow me.
You despite the mattress we did it from there.
Yeah?
That be the mattress where the dead go.
Wait, what are you doing? Wow! No damage at all. Not only durable, but also super comfortable. Come on, try it.
Nothing day like ash foam. Enjoy full body support and unparalleled comfort for a restful sleep.
Don't forget your keys.
Get the premium sleep experience with mattresses from Ash Foam. Visit any of our showrooms nationwide or at ashfoam.com.
Fire pomudi ni agubi Ghana fueni age if you say ya your local spices na ya frafra dia ya sankofa natural spice
me dey go me jollof mu ni me still ahodoma e ma ne dance
Stanley the barbecue dey go on
sankofa natural spices and one even use 100% natural said the happen
Adofo mamu nye huge mistake sankofa natural spices the year
FDA ejedi nkratu yatu.
You the answer to my prayer. You're with me everywhere. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need tonight. Give me shelter from the rain. You breathe life in me again. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need to know. Tonight.
Mommy.
Michelle say, fe.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Chocolate Toothpaste. Healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Chocolate Toothpaste. Sankofa.
Yenchi, Kel Chocolate Toothpaste.
Happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
All right, so welcome back. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. We're having a conversation on the back of the suit which has been filed by the national organizer of the MPP. It has to do with the termination of appointments that were given post-December 7. He's gone to the court to seek all kinds of declarative reliefs. And also, the former vice president and also the presidential candidate of the MPP, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, wading into this controversy. And that's the conversation we're having today. Yesterday, Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, who is the Minister of State in charge of government communication and also presidential spokesperson, also said the decision is not going to be reversed. And so just in case you just joined us, that's the conversation we're having. So joining us with us this morning is Lawyer Ivan Samankwa, who is the NDC's head of legal team in Ashanti region and also a former Adansa Sokwa parliamentary candidate. In fact, for the first time, the NDC won the Adansa Sokwa constituency. Again, one of those unprecedented feats that the party chalked. And also Isaac Boamanyako is the only surviving, or one of the two surviving MPs in the Western region. It's also the MP for Ifia constituency and also a private legal practitioner. So you have the floor, sir.
Okay, so, Moro, when it comes to the revocation of the appointment of our brothers and sisters who are part of us, who are Ghanaians, is a dicey conversation. And a very delicate one. And a very, yes, very delicate one that we need to be tactful. And dispassionate about it. And dispassionate about it. And speak to it nationally and patriotically. Exactly. You see, Moro, this appointment that were done, if you go into it holistically, you realize that it was done in bad faith. And this is not the first time this thing has happened in this country. In 2008, when MPP lost the election, President Kufuor, the former President Kufuor, who was the then president, introduced the single spine salary structure and had to put a lot of stress on late Professor Moss. Presidency, may he rest in perfect peace. Oro, you see, no matter somebody's political colors and affiliation, a person is a citizen of Ghana. And for that matter, he deserves to get the opportunity to work when the person merits that position. And merit supposed to be the yardstick. But when the Constitution mandates you to do something, and you do that thing illegally, it does not make it right. And that is exactly what has been done. Because if you look critically, the nature and the procedural breach that was done during this period, you realize that if you accept this appointment, it means you are going to create problem for the economy. And for that matter, the people in this country. Because the Public Sector Commission has... The Public Services Commission. Public Services Commission has a mandate to conduct interviews, put out adverts. You see, in all these arguments, if you realize, they've not been able to even show one advert that was publicized in any newspaper in relation to the appointment they did. So in advertising the vacancies exactly within the public service for people to apply. That is the procedure. Have they been able to show us one that they did advertised? And for that matter, people in this country got the hand of it and they applied for that position. They should show us one. They did not do that. So, if you go ahead to call your party foot soldiers and faithfuls to come and give them employment, and you tell them to wait after the elections. Meanwhile, if we had won, MPP wouldn't have employed those people. They know. Because as you speak, the public purse is overstretched to the extent that salary payments and other things sometimes becomes difficult. ask people who are in the public service that the date upon which salaries were paid some years ago, if the same day that they are experiencing today. That is not the case. And again, after advertising the vacancies in the various public sectors, they have to constitute panel for interviews. People have to apply with their certificates, with their qualifications, and interviews will go on. They should tell us at what point did they conduct those interviews. And again, at what point did they reach out to those people who qualified? You see, and again, appointment letters that were issued to those people is even tainted with kind of mischievous attitude and antecedents on them, where appointment letters dates were backdated and those stuffs. And do you expect the government to accept this?
But he just said he doesn't have a problem with that. He's saying that employments that were done irregularly, he doesn't have a problem with that. He's a man who believes in the rule of law.
Okay.
The right thing.
So all that,
the problem he has.
What we are saying is that those employments that was done post 7th December
were irregular.
Were all irregular.
Why?
Because of the processes that's supposed to be done, procedural processes that were breached. And for that matter,
i.e.,
it was not advertised. Those vacancies were not advertised.
There was no interview.
Yes,
all of them.
All of them.
Are you sure?
I am telling you for a fact, all of them.
That's not true.
There was no advertisement of the
There was
availability
no
of the jobs.
Exactly.
There was no application. There was no
interviews.
There was no medical report.
Exactly.
That would qualify you for you to get.
You see, they are going to court of that, and you realize that a time is going to come. They will pull out from this because you see, I was not going to say all these things because when you go for those employments and other things, your medical reports, you know you have a specific hospital that's supposed to go through those medical reports. You get it?
Yes.
And ask them if they have been able to do all those things.
Okay.
You did not do all those things. The same thing happened in 2017 when Vincent Asifua, when they were revoking employments done by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in 2016 after he lost the elections. The same thing happened. And when he was questioned, he said that those employments were done irregular. And for that matter, it needs to be revoked. Today, you want to do a turn back and regularize what you thought it was irregular at that time, saying that yours was regular. You have gone to court. So I think that this whole discussion and Dr. Baumier's outburst, to me, with all honesty, was unnecessary. Because your national organizer has gone to court on this matter. So why are you talking about it?
But doesn't it stop him from expressing his opinion?
Is it not your national organizer? Now, who is he in the party now?
These are two different individuals.
No, now who is he? Because when it comes to the party...
He's a former vice president.
When it comes to the party structure, he's nobody.
Oh my God.
Well, he knows it. Honorable knows it. When it comes to the structure of the party. So you are certain...
He's Ghanaian.
Of course, he's Ghanaian. But all that I'm trying to say that you're certain national organizer who has a lot of cotton wool under his anus and is trying to jump fire.
Nanabi.
Of course, Nanabi knows that he has a lot you
know some of these things.
It's a figurative expression.
Yes, of course. You know what I'm talking about.
But it is
can I go ahead?
Yeah,
no, what he's saying that he's just saying that Nanabi has some questions to answer.
He has questions to answer.
Who has brought
the point I'm trying to make is that it is not what's the name? It's not derogatory. That's the point I'm trying to make. We all have questions to answer anyway.
So we take it on the face of it.
We don't know what questions he's talking about. He just said the man has questions to answer.
Nanabi knows he knows what I'm talking about.
Okay, no problem. So when we get there,
he's a brother. Nanabi, if you are looking at me or if you are watching me, you know what I'm talking about.
So even when he sees fire, she didn't jump.
Oh, she dare not. Nanabi dares not.
Okay.
So he has gone to court.
All right.
And that is the beauty of democracy. Because once somebody does not understand something, or somebody thinks that I have been treated unfairly, or dissatisfied with a decision of an executive arm of government, and for that matter, I need to seek redress. It is the person's right. And for that matter, I am of the humble opinion that let's allow the court to deal with that issue.
But the Vice President says you came to power promising to give jobs. So these are the issues he's raised. One, you came to power. You campaigned on creating jobs.
Yes.
And so what you should be seen to be doing is to be creating opportunities for people to get more jobs. That is number one. Number two, he's even saying that, let's even assume, without admitting, from what I've read from his statement, that some wrongdoings happened in the past. You campaigned on the promise of resetting. And his understanding of resetting is that we do not go back to what happened in the past. We have to be seen to be making progress. So where lies your justification for repeating what had been done in the past?
See?
That's what the Vice President is asking you.
Moro, the Vice President saying that if I tell you, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, I'm going to give you money, and for that matter, vote for me. When I come, I'll give you money. And my money is there, and you go and steal it. I shouldn't say anything because I told you I'm going to give you money. That is what he's trying to say. The government is going to create jobs and make sure that people who have been employed legitimately, that was the word that we've been saying. No person who has been recruited legitimately in this by the last government would be the person's appointment will be revoked. No. But when it is done illegitimately, Moro, trust me, that illegitimacy will not be allowed to stand. And that is exactly what is happening. So Dr. Bawumia justification that President Mama promised to reset Ghana, and for that matter, if he is resetting Ghana, we should be able to allow illegal attitude that went on should stand, to stand? I don't think so. Because what is illegal is illegal. Nothing can make it legal. And we need not to condone and connive illegality in this country. And that is exactly what we are saying. And this goes to our government, the certain government, that those illegalities should, whilst we are saying that it should not be condoned, we should not to be seen to be practicing same. So if there's any employment that's supposed to be given to our people and the people of this country, is supposed to be done and done with now. We should not wait until the last minute, then we'll be pushing people anywhere, helter-skelter. You have to push this, bring these people. You see, my brother and learned brother here knows very well that there's so many employments and appointments that have been done in this country post 7 December that was done in haste, and it was illegal, and it was ill thought, and it was done in bad faith. As he was saying, I said that all those employments done post 7 December were illegal, and for that matter has been revoked. Now you see, because of the conduct of the then government, somebody sitting somewhere innocently may be affected by the show of bad faith by the past government.
Okay.
Because maybe somebody innocently who has gone through processes and procedure and gone through legitimately may have been affected. But because of your bad conduct and your bad faith exhibition, it has affected somebody. But all that we are saying is that, you see, my brother, if you go to Komfanochi, ask anybody who is working in Komfanochi today, the HR, I will mention the HR, Somoto is employing people over there. If I should show you my phone, the complaints of people that is putting in, it will shock you. There are people who are going to be under the IGF, the internally generated funding to pay them. It will shock you. And if you sit there and do all those things, are you there for the interest of the country?
Yeah.
That is something that we need all to look at. You don't create problem and leave it for somebody to come and solve that problem. If you do that, then you are not helping the country.
If I heard what John Obaziboma said, he said, look, perhaps if the Chief of Staff's memo had said, terminate the appointment of persons whose recruitment was done irregularly, he thinks that would have been fine.
That's correct.
But it's the wholesale directive, which may affect persons who went through due process in getting employment. So that's where he's coming from.
So what about terminate all those people who appointment were done after 7th December?
His point is that okay.
So that we ask them that people who believed that they got the position on merit should reapply. That because when we advertise them,
if I got the job the right way, I went through due process. Why do you terminate my appointments and ask me to reapply?
Because those processes were tinted with irregular nature of its procedure.
You mean for all of us or for some of us?
For all of them. And that is exactly what...
No,
it's Moro.
No, just saying that there were some who were... It's possible that some went through the right process.
I would not, I am somebody who believes in being candid when it comes to issues.
Yeah.
And that is why I am saying that, you see, when you exhibit bad faith, it tends to affect even innocent people.
Yeah. Okay.
And if anybody who has gone through legitimately has been affected, that person should not blame anybody.
Okay. There's a final issue which I need you to address before maybe I'll take his concluding remarks. Now, he started at the very beginning of his submission. He states that the Chief of Staff didn't even have the authority and the power constitutionally. As for politically, we don't have to argue that. I think it's inarguable. But he thinks that the Chief of Staff is not clothed with that authority and power to have even issued that memo. I mean, you are also a lawyer. Do you agree with him?
I don't. Why should I agree with him on this point? Because is the Chief of Staff there so moto on his own?
Or is working on the instruction?
This Chief of Staff is working on the instruction of the President. And the Chief of Staff cannot issue a letter when he is not directed by the President. So check the letter.
And where is the presidential power coming from?
Where is the presidential power? The presidential power comes from where? And you know it. So if you're asking me, where is it coming from?
Yeah, so at the time he was president-elect. No,
he was president.
Yes.
So why are you saying that where is the presidential power coming from?
How do you mean?
He's trying to say that it comes from the people.
No. My point is that when we talk about employment, it's a contract between the organization and then the individuals.
What is the public sector?
Yes, I'm coming. And I'm saying that when you come to the public service, we have different legs within the Public Services Commission.
Fact.
Where employments are done on different levels and grades. Right. So, if Ghana Revenue Authority, for example, under its Act 791, employs people, the President does not have power to just issue a directive to revoke those appointments. That's the point.
Are you saying that when it is done illegally? Is that what he wants to say?
No, coming.
Listen,
are you saying establish the illegality?
If that illegality has not been established,
you've not established illegality.
No, my brother.
No, the issuance of the letter.
But let me understand.
The issuance of the letter was that. The issuance of the letter was that. Revoke all.
Leonard brother.
This is what I want to understand.
No, my Leonard brother, you don't create the impression that the President has no powers to revoke appointment that has been done illegally.
He's not established any illegality.
You
My
see,
point.
that is
Chief
what
of
you
Staff's
don't know.
Directive, no.
Tell
Chief
me.
of Staff's directive
Tell me
to
that
revoke
you
those
should tell
things
them. No.
was just a direct instruction
You see, cancel.
that revoke all appointments made post 7th December.
Cancel. You should have said to the viewers that if the president does not have any basis of illegality being conducted,
because I've not seen it.
The fact that you've not seen
it.
The fact
the
that
letter
no,
that
listen.
was instruction that way.
But
There's
if you are listen, if you are listening to the press conference by the press secretary and the government spokesperson, then you know that a prima facie case has been established against those appointments, i.e., it was not procedural breaches has occurred, and for that matter, it has been revoked. That was the establishment of the illegality. So once that thing has been established, I don't see the reason why you have to come back that the president does not have that power. You see, you are saying that it has not been established. I've just told you that procedural illegalities and breaches occurred during that appointment, and for that matter, the president directed the Chief Justice to issue a letter, the chief of staff to issue a letter to revoke all those appointments. So that is the basis of it. So there's no illegality here from the president or the chief of staff. I hope that question has been answered.
But I just want to understand something because I'm a bit it's a bit hazy in my mind, and I'm trying to get some clarity here.
Okay.
Is it your contention, Honorable, that there are certain persons in this country, of course, if you take, say, heads of independent institutions, like, say, the Judiciary, you take, say, the Electoral Commission, and maybe the Auditor General, and some other ones. You're saying that the president doesn't have the legal right or the constitutional right to terminate the appointment of persons who are appointed onto the public service?
Exactly my point. You see, the president can act through the agencies and institutions established and clothed with the mandate by law.
So you take like Ghana Revenue Authority.
Exactly.
What's in your appreciation of the law? What should be?
So the president would have directed the Commissioner General to review the appointments or the recruitments that were done in JRA. If he establishes that there were procedural breaches and all those things, then the Commissioner General has the mandate to reverse those or to cancel those appointments.
And if the
Moro, can you ask him that if what he's saying is it an opinion that he's expressing? Or is it a law?
That is the law.
That is
the whole appointment. The president didn't The president didn't apply them. The president didn't apply them.
But that's why you go to court. Because you guys don't
is that the position of the law?
The president did not appoint them. The president, by the GRA Act, appoints the Commissioner General.
Yes.
And then the 3 commissioners.
Yes.
All other officers, from junior rank to the position of deputy commissioners or assistant commissioners, are done through processes authorized under the Public Services Commission. So my point is that when there's a laid down procedure
and has been flouted,
presumably so, I'm saying that the office of the Chief of Staff, under the direction of the President, doesn't have power to issue a directive that those things are revoked.
That is totally wrong. That is totally wrong. That is totally wrong.
Where is that coming from?
No, where is your point coming from? No. Where is your point?
If the president can you with that power, then the president can wake up one morning and sack everybody.
The two of you are lawyers, I'm not.
No, if the president is clothed with that power, then he can wake up one morning and sack everybody. I do tell you that that's what the constitution.
That's why I'm asking you this question. That's what I'm asking you. What I'm asking you. So I want us to use the Ghana Revenue Authority as a case study.
That is where you worked for 23 years.
That is correct.
For 23 years.
That is correct.
And I know he's familiar with that terrain. That's why I'm insisting that we use Ghana Revenue Authority for our case study, because it's a familiar terrain for him.
Yes.
You're saying to me that per the directive by the Chief of Staff.
That's correct.
The Commissioner General can tell the President that, look, I've heard or I acknowledge this directive you've issued.
That is correct.
But stay away from us. As for us, we are masters of our own rules.
That's correct.
So I will decide whether somebody is fit and proper to work with me or not.
That's correct.
Okay. So that even if for as long as I don't deem any of the appointments to be irregular, they work with me, they stay.
That is correct.
You mean the Commissioner General can tell
No, he's asking a question. No, he's asking a question.
Of course, and I'm saying
tell the president that.
I'm saying that, and that is.
Are you saying he can tell the president that?
Oh, why can't he tell? I'm saying that the GRA Act.
Of right.
Of course, the GRA Act.
Yes.
The functions of the Commissioner General
insulates.
And then that of the board.
The act. So you see,
791. I'm unable to. But
so then you have to try. You see,
yeah.
when in law,
yes.
you are a lawyer in good standing.
Yes.
I know and I respect you on that.
Yes.
But you know that you can never refer to a law which you cannot quote.
Oh, let me give you the section.
So that is the best. So
but I've referred you to the GRA Act. We have the functions.
No, we are talking about.
I'm coming.
I'm coming. We are talking about GRA. So if you say the GRA Act, it's vague.
Yeah.
Without quoting any section, supporting your
in order to strengthen his
exactly.
argument. Okay. That's
so
right.
if you cannot quote any session, but mind you, we have time limits.
Let's not.
You have been there for 23.
Let's not relitigate this.
There is no law supporting his position. There's no law to that effect.
No.
Because you see, what law would permit a commissioner to flout presidential directive in relation to an illegality that has been conducted under the public service sector, where the salaries comes from the public purse? What law?
You dare not.
You dare? What law would be that? If there's any law in this country like that, then the country would be heading towards ditch. There can't be any law to that effect. You can go through that act, even though I've not taken the opportunity to go through that act. You will never find any section that will give the commissioner that mandate.
No. He will exercise it under a provision.
So settle it by reading to
all
of us, so that at least
of the lawyers.
So here we go.
Good.
Functions of the Commissioner General.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. That is section 14 of the Act, subsection 4.
Which Act is this?
Act 791. The GRA Act.
GRA Act.
Yes. So it says the functions of the Commissioner General. 14.1. The Commissioner General is responsible for the day-to-day administration. I'm coming to the section.
Go there.
Okay, so subsection 4. The Commissioner General is responsible for the direction and supervision of the employees of the authority.
So the Commissioner General...
I'm coming. So at this time, the people are employees of GRA.
You see?
Hold it.
You see,
hold it, council, hold it.
Don't let us waste our time.
Don't say you wasted our time.
Okay.
Council, hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Council, hold on.
I've learned to always say,
at the time,
this is my appreciation
at the time,
of the law.
section what? I said section 14.4. I'm saying that it says the Commissioner General is responsible for the direction and supervision of the employees of the authority. So the people are employees of the authority.
The direction.
As at the time the directive is coming, let me finish. As at the time the directive is coming to stop the people and to revoke the appointment, they are deemed employees of the authority.
Okay.
So if they are employees of the authority, the president cannot sit and issue direction and say that let all those people's appointment deemed revoked and not staff of GRA. I'm saying that the mandate would have been exercised with the Commissioner General under the supervision of the board. Simpliciter. So if there are irregularities, I am not against the fact that if there are irregularities or not. But enforcing that irregularity doesn't come from a fiat from the presidency. This is not a banana republic.
You see, my brother, this is a lawyer who, some lawyers I know, who go to court, quote a section, who does not support their argument, but would want to speak to the optics of it so that it can confuse a judge who is not vested in the law.
Counsel.
You just, I'm coming.
You see, make your point
you just quoted a session.
Now, exactly.
You just quoted a session.
Yes.
And the session 14.4.
Yes.
It says the Commissioner General has a direction and supervision.
Of the employees.
Does it have a direction in relation to whether or not they were appointment and termination?
The one that you stated.
No. Please. Again, who appointed that commissioner?
It's the president.
Who appointed that commissioner? And under whose authority or mandate is he working over there?
It's the president.
It's the president.
But the
So are you saying that the
president
commissioner?
directive?
Please. You see?
No, exactly. Once you appoint him, he's on his own.
No.
He can do whatever.
How can you be on your own? Yeah. You cannot be on your own.
He will exercise it on your behalf, not
you see?
for you to give that directive
so if you are,
to revoke.
no,
That's all I'm saying.
If you are, so that is why I challenge him that there's no law that gives the commissioner the authority, the mandate, the turpitude to go against the president's directive. No. I challenge him, and the session that he has quoted, can I? If you understand me, then let me go.
Directive, you see, has to be exercised by the CG.
No.
But you are also saying that
he can
decide to ignore it.
Ignore it.
That's the question. That's the question you're asking.
No. I didn't say to ignore. But he would have to go through that process, establish, and then if he finds that irregularity, he will be the one to do the revocation.
And so I asked you, what if he doesn't find it?
But if he doesn't find it, then it means that there's no basis.
Yeah, but there's a directive, there's a fiat.
That's what I'm saying. That's what is wrong.
Is it moral? Okay. All that is expressing is an opinion.
Yeah, well, of course.
That's
what you lawyers do anyway.
But you see, it's not supported by any law.
Okay.
And what I am saying...
So this is very interesting. Hold on. They said, the Commissioner General shall hold office on the terms and conditions specified in the letter of appointment and shall be appointed for a term of 4 years, which may be renewed for another term for 4 years. So functions of the Commissioner General. So the Commissioner General is responsible for the day-to-day administration of the affairs of the authority and is answerable to the board for the performance of the functions of that office. 2, the Commissioner General shall perform any other function determined by the board.
Definitely.
3, the Commissioner General may delegate a function to an officer of the authority, but is not relieved from ultimate responsibility for the performance of the delegated function. 4, the Commissioner General is responsible for the direction and supervision of the employees of the authority. But you decide to stretch this supervision employees to mean that he alone can employ, he alone can terminate. And he said that no, that's a bit of an overstretch.
Exactly.
And that when it comes to termination appointment,
the president,
it has to be with from the president.
That is why. I get it. But see, where we are coming from. Where I'm coming
take care of them for me. That's all.
No, where I'm coming from is that it is for no reason that acts are established and authorities are established to perform a function.
But the
president has the overall responsibility of the state. That is not in doubt. Okay. The president normally, even if the president wants to do anything in any institution, the president doesn't just issue instruction and the instructions are carried. It has to come through a process or through people authorized by the laws, which is the act that establishes them to perform. So my point is,
but that memo from the chief of staff, it's not stopping or stopping any of them to no. I mean, it's just a memo. So the heads of those various institutions would have to decide what to do next. Isn't that it?
But the way it has been stretched, and that is why their letters are that the letters are deemed that everybody that was employed at that time.
A military officer sent me
a message.
He says that you ask him.
Yeah.
But what about President Kufuor dissolving National Mobilization Program and also the 64 Battalion? Under what authority and law, if not being the president, would he have been able to do that?
Yeah, but he's a commander of.
Exactly. So what we are trying to say is that the president, you have employed people and he has established the fact that the processes and the procedural breaches has occurred. And for that matter, he has revoked all of them. And you are saying it is illegal. You go ahead to say that give a sector.
Yeah.
Civil service sector, that is the GRA, where you have worked for 23 years. A public service, where you have worked for 23 years, that the commissioner has the right even to take a position in relation to what the president has said no. And that has been established. So all that we are saying is that a prima facie case has been established against the processes and the procedures of the appointments that were carried out after MPP has lost the election. That is the post 7th December 2024. And for that matter, those appointments has been revoked.
I see. His argument is this, that his expectation is that once this edict or this directive is issued, the heads of some institutions must be allowed to basically sieve it, right? So that it doesn't become an issue of just because the president says sack them, he will just go ahead and sack them. But they would be by law allowed to take a look at it and decide whether indeed those persons who have been employed were actually employed irregularly or irregularly. That's the point he's making.
So no, if
your
you're
argument is that once the directive has come from the presidency, you are not giving the latitude.
Nobody is saying whether it's correct.
That's what I said. You said
I have told you that there was no.
They should go, and then if it is legal,
told you that
you
there
come
was
and establish your
basis.
legality.
No,
okay.
I have told you that there was basis for that directive, and the basis was what was outlined by Honorable Felix Kwachi Ofosu on his press briefing yesterday. And those press briefing establishes the procedural breaches that occurred during those illegal
in all the appointments.
In all of the appointments. That is what I'm saying.
That's why the thing is in court to be looked at.
Yes, then now you are going to court. But you see, you were creating the impression, that was where I was worried, that what the president has done is illegal.
I've already said that is my position.
No.
Yes, that is my position.
No,
I'm only saying my
your
position.
If it is your position, fine.
Yes,
but you were
that is
creating
my
the impression
position.
that it was supported by law.
No, but of course.
Okay, so
my position is also supported by law.
No, it's not
like
supported
you,
by law.
I said,
No. You see, when it is not supported, you see, anything that is supported by law is deemed to be the law. But when it does not support, it has no support of the law, it's not the law. But, and that is something that we need to know and distinguish. If it is my suggestion and opinion that is being expressed, it's different. If you say that it's supported by the law, then the president has erred or commit illegality. And the president is
but we've had the president commit illegality, challenge, and his decisions quashed. Hasn't it ever happened in this country?
But this is not what...
That's why the issues are before court. We have already Nana Boache's submission to the court is to challenge the legality and authority of the executive to take those decisions.
My brother, as a lawyer, you know that every citizen of this country.
I agree, but I'm only saying that he has gone to court. I didn't say that he will win or he has.
The fact that that gentleman is in court does not mean that he has merit in what he is saying. From what I said, he wants to energize his base so that he can enter into the political terrain. Because when you become a national organizer and lead a party to a defeat to that magnitude, you need to do something to launch yourself. So I understand Nanabuachi. That is the
so you think he doesn't have basis?
No, Nanabuachi wants to just launch himself so that people will have sympathy for him, because how can he be a national organizer and lead a party to such a defeat, embarrassment?
You mean it's a politically tactical move?
You get it. See how Honorable is laughing. Nanabuachi is trying to relaunch his political career because now he has a. You see, when Nanabuachi became the national organizer, I met him at Hello FM, and I told him that I am so saddened that he's my brother. For him to go for that position.
He's not here. Leave him out.
For him to go for that position. Because they are going to be defeated in such a way that everybody will think that as a national organizer, he did not work well. Nanabuachi, you see what has happened to you.
Okay.
And now you want to use the court to relaunch your political career. It is that. Because this case, you are going to lose miserably.
Yeah.
And the people will know and think that you are incompetent. Meanwhile,
but what we are saying is that give them the jobs and add more jobs to it. That's what
the jobs. When a job
the Ghanaians are saying that give us more jobs. The youth want more jobs.
President Mama is
let's keep those in employment and let's employ more. Even if there are certain breaches are fatal.
I don't want to sound like Napo.
Some may be fatal, others may not be fatal.
If there's any president in this country
wants to go
who has created more jobs for the people of this country, if President Mama is not number one, then he will be number two, apart from Kwame Nkrumah. And everybody in this country will attest to that fact. President Mahama is a nation builder. And if you realize and see in his 4 years as president, the things that he did for this country, everybody will attest to that fact. That is why in his second coming, you see, if I were to be any MPP, you see, my Leonard brother, if I were to be any MPP, we need to be very careful when we are talking about President Abebio John Dramani Mahama. Do you know why? Because the president who was humiliated in 2016 by saying he is incompetent, by saying all sort of things about him, for his comeback to be that greater and mightier and humiliated you MPP people to this extent, and you are doubting the competence of this man.
I've never doubted his competence.
We need to be careful when we are speaking about President John Dramani Mahama.
The competence
that man has
of the president, but we are saying that the president
some divine aura around him. And when that thing is working, we need to be very careful.
We are not saying he's
that
not competent. We are saying now that he should seek the interest of Ghanaians. He should create more jobs, keep the jobs that are currently in existence, and look for opportunities to add more. Don't take people out and come and just do replacement.
That is why President Mahama. That is why President Mahama
teachers
want to keep.
The teachers want jobs.
The
nurses want jobs. The people of Ghana want jobs.
That is why President Mahama will not give a 40-year-old woman,
keep
a 40-year-old woman, an immigration officer. Keep that person in that office. When you employ a 40-year-old woman as a recruit of immigration at your time, meanwhile the law stipulates and gives age cuts to the people who.
What is the age cut?
In immigration, yes. 25 years at recruits. 25 years.
Which grade?
You
should check the grade too.
No, I'm talking about recruits. When I say recruit has that is the last grade.
The base.
The base. Yes. It's 25 years.
And you saw 40-year-old.
That woman, you did not see that woman.
So you never did recruitment over 25 years during your time?
President Mahama would not supervise.
So let's be careful. We are all in this country.
Let me read some messages. You know Mr. Kofi Nyanteji?
Yes.
Formerly of TV3. He used to be the Director of News and Current Affairs back in, I think, 2006, 2007, thereabout. He sent a message. And it's in relation to the conversation we're having about the termination of the recruitment. Now, he's of the opinion. He says, I think the status of recruitment could have been indicated in the transition period instead of offering actual employment. That's his view. So, say we intend to employ X number of people.
Fair point.
So you decide what you want to do with them rather than going ahead with employment. That's what he thinks. It will solve all these problems. But what I can tell you as a matter of fact is that it won't happen. I mean, it won't happen. With MPP and DC, it will never happen.
You have done the same in 2016. And you are behaving as if it never happened in your time.
And then he said,
let's stop this practice.
No,
let's all agree.
I was thinking,
you see, let's strengthen our laws. Looking at some of these challenges. So now, what I, as an MP, am going to do is to look at how best we strengthen our transition law, how we strengthen our legislation during this period of change of government.
I totally agree.
So that these things will be sorted. That if we don't want, even if you
for me, it's the solution to the problem.
If you initiate
let's state it in there.
And there is a
you
change
can do
of
this,
government,
you can't do that.
truncate all the processes, and that becomes legal.
Let me tell you something. It is sometimes when you take a cue from an incident and you repeat the same thing, you become worse off. Let's look at transitions. 1992, late President John Rawlings was the president of First Nation, and he handed over power to President Kufuor. There was nothing like late employment, and we did not hear anything of that sort. That was what happened.
At the time, we didn't even have a transition act.
Exactly. And he relayed the baton to President Mills. And that was when they came with that single span, last minute infusion into the system. It became,
The point is that we haven't learned.
And Mahama continued.
And when Mahama came And President Mahama, I'm sorry, Your Excellency, for me to say Mahama, I will not say that.
I don't think the president will have a problem. Just say
he has always, no, in fact, I've called him my president, our president. If you go to my post, my Facebook page, even when he was the former president, I had referred to my president. When my president came, the same thing happened, and MPP people came to chase so many people out.
That is correct.
And President Asefua, when we were talking, people were coming to my law firm, challenging the illegality of their sack and their. I told them, as I relax, let's see what goes on. So after doing all these things, you came back to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
what do we do?
Did we go or did we come?
As he is saying today, I am telling my people that from what we are experiencing, we should not repeat.
Let's legislate.
In our last term.
Let's legislate.
If you have any employment to give it to our foot soldiers and our people,
they will not hear you.
They will hear me.
They will not hear you.
But you and I know the moral switching has
to give it to our people. Give it to them today. Don't wait.
All right.
For people to go through this hassle.
Seth in Accra sent a message. It says, "Good morning, Moro. I am sorry to say the former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bamia's statement is hypocritical. When thousands of Ghanaians were laid off in 2017 and firmly confirmed by the then Senior Minister Yosafo Mafo at his vetting, can the former Vice President show us his opposition to the mass dismissals in 2017? Tell Isaac Boama that National Service, Metropolitan Municipal and District Directors recruited and appointed in December 2016 were sacked. Yara Koku is now acting executive secretary of NIA, who was a staff of NIA before 2016 was dismissed. If they want to be taken serious, then they should first apologize to all those innocent Ghanaians they dismissed in 2017, employed after December 7, 2016. That's Seth from Accra sent that message. Let me end with this. He's also a very avid and a regular and an ardent viewer of the show. Mansa Musa, he says, for a political party mercilessly defeated in an election, the MPP must learn to eat humble kose. Parties defeated in such overwhelming manner. Why is one of your favorites?
No, kose is good for them.
Okay. To eat, he says, parties defeated in such an overwhelming manner usually go into hibernation for about 6 months to a year to recalibrate and then come back. The MPP posture now is rather very irritating to many Ghanaians. The MP should be clever enough to know this. This is free advice from me. Thanks and good morning from Mansa Musa. He's actually a broadcaster based in the UK as well. Okay, so I believe these are some of the. There's another one from Ugo. Ugo is a very popular marriage counselor based in Nigeria, but of course he lives part of his life in Ghana sometimes. The issue here is that if okay. This one has nothing to do with the program. It's a personal message to me. Prince Derek Ajay, your very good friend. Prince Derek Ajay. Yeah. She says almost everybody in the civil and public service are politically active and belong to the MPP or NDC. Let's call a spade a spade. Anyway, that would have sort of dovetailed into our next conversation, but our time is up. It's about what's happened with the birth and death registry and your own very good friend, Honorable Adom Botri. But we can't obviously talk about it now.
No, but at least
time is not. No, we're run out. That's it. Otherwise, it'll take us off. Yeah, it'll take us off. Yes, it'll take us off. So I want to thank you very much for joining us just on the Thursday edition of Good Morning Ghana. Lawyer Evans Amankwa, who's a chairman of the NDC Ashanti Regional Legal Team and also a former parliamentary candidate for the Adansia Sokwa constituency, and also Isaac Boama Nyako. He's a first-timer in many things, one for the show and also in Parliament. He's a member of Parliament for IFIA and also a private legal practitioner. So you realize that we were talking law. I don't know law, so Charlie, I can only express a layman's view. My name is Audu Moro. Thanks for watching Good Morning Ghana. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
To the statement, though I must commend the minister and the colleagues who contributed. Mr. Speaker, in this House, we have different people with different backgrounds. In this chamber, myself and Honorable Gisela Agochu Tete are the only architects in this House. If a colleague gets up and makes a statement, of course, if I make a statement which is borders on law and is completely inappropriate,
celebrating hard work, commitment, dedication, and impact. The Metro Sports Awards 8 in 8 seeks to identify and reward